Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching. My name is Travis Compton. I'm coming at you guys with another Power BI quick tip. Now, hopefully this looks familiar. This is the dashboard we left off on our video about drill throughs with unique images. And going through and watching that video, it was very clear that I did not like this dashboard. Obviously, it was just to show this image here. So I thought I'd kind of go through and take you guys through the steps of taking a basic dashboard and making it presentable. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to duplicate this page here and actually rename it, because I think even individual game, we could have done a lot better there. So let's rename it. This is just game drill, because we're going to be drilling down into our game. I'm going to get rid of these cards. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with this dashboard already. So we'll get rid of those. They'll make an appearance later, no big. So this is actually kind of going to be our the focus point of the whole presentation, because we're kind of the idea is we're wanting to present the sales. These are very important. Obviously, companies care about sales. So the most atrocious thing I see when looking at this title mainly. So come in here to our little paintbrush columns looking thing and go to the title, because all this is, there's a lot of jargon there, but this is just sales by region. That's all this is. Come over here, we see kind of the same thing with the y-axis. Go into our y-axis, go to the title. And again, this is just sales in millions. All right, perfect. Okay, small steps. Next, let's see. Let's go and rename the legend, what we have over here. Obviously, we have sales by region. And actually, now that I look at that, we can make that look even better. Bold and centered. There we go. This is a title, so we obviously want to make it look like a title. Go back to our legend here. So we have sales by region. So I don't really think we even need this sales anymore. Plus, I think the EU underscore sales or JP underscore sales, I just don't think it looks all that clean. So let's rename these, make them look better. Obviously, we don't need the sales and we don't need the acronyms, so we can just show what these actually are supposed to be. Okay, perfect. Now that we're done with that, we can come and think about actually moving the legend. I don't know why I put it here. Obviously, there's a lot of different options you can do with your legend here. I feel like only about half of them make sense. I think the top center here is a good spot for it, though. Next, one of the last things I talked about was how bad I thought the color scheming was. So I kind of set myself up to really make a good a good color palette now. So no pressure. So let's come over here to our columns. There they are. Now I'm going to give you guys a hint on how I typically do my colors, and that's a website called coolers.co. They have a lot of really great palettes. These right here, these are like everything I usually like to use in palettes. Some of them look great out. I'm not sure if that's my computer screen, but it doesn't mean anything. So let's go and just start making our colors look a lot cooler. Get it? Cooler colors. Moving on. All right, and hopefully these look nice on my screen. Sometimes I do spend a lot of time playing with colors for my dashboards, more time than I probably should admit to. Let's add this like reddish right here. That's why I kind of like all these grouped together. Again, they're not always exactly like that or exactly look like that. These are trending, so these palettes tend to change. And I'm just going to change this one because it looks, I can barely see it. It feels like, there we go. Perfect. Awesome. Now this looks great. Something I also want to do, and I'm sorry, Mario, I'm going to make you a little smaller here just because I want to fit a pie chart here. Before I fit that pie chart, spoilers, I'm going to put a border around here. I like to put borders on essentially everything that I use. It helps me understand kind of the boundaries and where things are at and if it's spaced correctly. That's why I really like to use it. So we obviously see our sales here, but we also might want to get our percentage of sales. So let's go and get that. So let's do our NA sales. Let's see, what else? Where is it? Okay, we could do Japan. That's cool. That works for me. EU, where you at? There you are. And then other, last but not least. Okay. And there are a couple things we can obviously see as soon as we do this pie chart. Again, the first thing we notice is probably the title. So we're going to go and fix that. Obviously, this is just percent of sales by region. Bold and center. Perfect. Very cool. Now, to help us kind of save on some space, because obviously this looks pretty small, we're going to actually get rid of our legend. And one of the main arguments I would make behind that is we have the same legend right here. So we can also help ourselves with our data labels as well. And we can do its category and percent of total. Perfect. And while I'm looking at that, let's change these. Now we're going to make them a little different. Normally I'd like them to be the exact same as here, but again, because it's a small space, I want them to all fit properly. So I'm really just going to drop the underscore and the sales. I think that'll be good enough. Oops, didn't mean to delete that entire thing. Perfect. Very cool. And last but not least, those colors. So let's come in here. Whoops, actually it's under slices. NA was this darker color. Let's see, Japan was this really nice blue. Europe was like the grayish color. The other was this one right here. Perfect. All right, there we go. See, look how nice those colors look compared to what we had there already. Okay, are we done here? Let's see. Do we put the border on? I always feel like I forget that. It is not on. There we go. Good call. All right. Now, next, we're going to add in a couple cards here. And I wish there was a more intuitive way to go about what I'm about to do. And something I thought about doing was pre-engineering it before this video, just to try to save as much time as possible for all those of you who are watching. And shout out to those who are watching. I appreciate that very much. But I literally just kind of copy paste and then fit however it works. I wish there was a better way to make this happen. But in this particular case, it's okay that we have one a little bigger because I'm going to actually have this one be kind of the name. There we go. So that fits nicely. Sometimes if it's smaller, it doesn't fit. There we go. It typically looks something like that if they were the same size as these. As I'm looking at this, the first thing I noticed, it says first name. We're going to come in here and rename that. What Power BI does and why it says first name is essentially when you drop a card in, like say a name like that, it's just going to pull the first name in the data. So something pretty much whatever is alphabetically first in the list. Clearly we're doing a drill through, so we don't have to worry about that. Just something to keep in mind, obviously, and clearly to change it, you can change this to obviously whatever you want. We can make this, obviously whatever we wanted. So and I guess to look at that, you see last and the counts and a quick measure even if you wanted to, which is pretty cool. So let's see, we got the genre, we got the name. Let's do platform. And it was funny because I hadn't used cards in a while at work, but I made a dashboard that looked very similar to this recently. And I actually could not remember how to change the names on the cards for half a second. And I kind of had a moment of like, oh my gosh, like this shouldn't be this hard. It's not, thankfully, like most things in Power BI. And so let's do the year here. Perfect. And again, as promised, I'm going to put a border on it because, again, I put a border on just about everything. But again, I think it looks nicer and it helps me, like I mentioned, for spacing reasons. There we go. Cool. And that looks pretty good. I think we're just about done. Oh, lastly, we could probably come here. You see this white space. Obviously, our outline is right here. We can actually come over here and do an image fill. There's also a couple options. Scaling is normal. I wish normal fit. The way we did have it looked pretty good, but unfortunately, we have to kind of work around our dashboard. We could do a fit, and I think that looks pretty good. We'll expand that out a bit. Also, we have none, but I think that's not what we want, definitely. But obviously it's always good to mess around with these to try to see what works best for your dashboard. Something else I also debated with creating this was to move this column chart down and expanding this. And we could even come here and maybe add like a nice background. There it is. No, it's not. There it is. Maybe, you know, something to that extent. I ultimately decided not to do it this way, but just again, giving you guys some different options to think about when you're making your dashboards. It's always good to play around with different things to see what works and what doesn't work and what looks better. So just to make sure everything is still working properly, let's look at a different video game. Let's drill through to our game drill. And there we go. There's Wii Sports. Looks pretty good. So there we go, guys. That is making a basic looking dashboard into something that actually looks presentable. Like, I'd be happy presenting this to my bosses. So hopefully this helped you guys out. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Bye.